Today we're in Missouri, just south of St. Louis, checking out the Missouri Mining Museum. How excited on a scale of 1 to 10 are you to be here?
Very excited.
Yeah, I could tell. I conned Madeline into it by the fact that there's fossils here. Let's go see what's inside. Just walking in the first building here. This is the old powerhouse, which has been turned into the museum. There's some cool stuff you don't see very often in here. I assume that's below us somewhere. 1940. There's a 15-ton locomotive pulling underground rail cars. Oh, there's this guy, I believe. Now, I'm not very familiar with subsurface mining techniques and equipment outside of coal mining equipment in Pennsylvania. This is some sort of big electric front end loader. It does on tracks, kind of more like a drag line type track than a loader or dozer track we'd see in modern. Are there more pictures of it? It's got 4 big electric motors. I'm guessing that's your brakes to steer it. So this must be a drive motor here. And then that would run, that runs some gearbox. There's one over there that runs the winch, it looks like. So you actually have 2 different sets of chains. So that's your tracks. And you have chains up here, which is hooked to your gearbox. Kind of an odd setup. Then your cable spool for your front bucket. This is the St. Joe shovel. Starting in 1922, sounds like when the company was built. They could swing in a complete circle in a space of 20 feet. It only needed 7 feet of headroom. They ran on 440 volt AC current. And there were 4 in this mine. They could load 100 2.7 ton ore cars in about an 8-hour shift. Wow. Only 52 of these were ever made. And most were in use until 1972. Smooth bucket. There's your operator station with your Sparky panel next to you. Check out the joystick, that's pretty cool. All right, moving on here. We got this little guy, a speeder. I think this is just like a rail car. There was 35 used for rapid transportation in the mine. All of them are custom made in the machine shop here, that's cool. Powered by a 3 horsepower motor operating off a trolley wire. So this is still electric too. And it had hydraulic brakes. So this had like a trolley that would pick it up from the ceiling, I guess. Over here we have a 6-ton reel type locomotive. 6 and 8 ton reel type locomotives came in the 1940s. They replaced the mules. Made by Jeffrey Manufacturing Company of Columbus, Ohio, and was adapted for use in the lead mines by converting it to 24-inch gauge track. 2 35 horsepower, 275 volt motors provided the power. So it must have been all kinds of transformers running in here because there's everything I've looked at so far runs on a different current. Pretty cool. And then it's hooked to this guy, which is a 15-ton mainline locomotive, just a bigger guy. This one has 2 90 horsepower, 275 volt motors. Each mine had 2 or 3 of these locomotives. That's a big guy. And then you have an ore car here. They would fill 40 of these a day was their goal on an 8-hour shift. And a mainline locomotive could pull 20 of them, but up to 40 of them could be pulled. There's another picture of the shovel over here being used. All right, let's keep moving. Looks like I get another little, oh, this is a portable generator. Okay. Like I said, different voltages being used, so that makes sense. Stationary generators were located in various parts of the mine. 440 volt AC power came down from the surface, and then that drove the generator to produce the 275 volt that everything else seemed to run on. This is the only one of its kind. It was built in 1967. Same year my C10 is. Custom built here, so they built a lot of stuff themselves. Check out the big armature on this guy. Pretty open. It's not all encased like most generators you see. Then we have a big compressor here, electric compressor. This one was built in 1937 using an old mill motor and other spare parts. The air tanks were handmade and the controller was salvaged from an old locomotive. Can provide 100 PSI. Sorry about the lighting in here, it's a little dark. Trying my best though. Looks like here we've got a dragline bucket of some sort. Sort of an odd design though, isn't it? Maybe you would pull this behind something like a scraper? You got a 3-drum electric hoist. I guess this would just be mounted up in the... Okay, so this works in conjunction with that bucket thing to make a tugger scraper. So sort of like a drag line, but all different components. I think this guy's my favorite. The IMCO shovel. I've seen them for surface equipment before. IMCO made some funky looking front end and loaders and track loaders and things. Model 630, shovel on treads or tracks, was used for loading rock when shinking a shaft or cutting a drift. The 3 motors are powered by 100 PSI air. One motor raised and lowered the dipper, and there was a travel motor for each tread. Huh, that's really cool. I've never seen an air-powered machine like this. This guy's wicked cool. It's like a cam setup, the cable to lift and lower the bucket. And it doesn't really look like you would sit in there. Looks like you run it from the side here, which is kind of dangerous. But that's the name of the game, I guess. This thing's really cool. We got a smaller version here. This is a Sullivan shovel. Little baby bucket on that. This guy's got mechanical controls on the side with a big air line coming in, so I'm assuming this is also pneumatic. Powered by compressed air, 2 motors, one for travel and one for hoist. Did the same kind of setup as the IMCO, but this one's on rails instead of tracks. Bunch of stuff about lead, making up car batteries and gasoline and all kinds of stuff. So here's some pictures of the complex here. It's even darker back here. Kind of what we're standing in. But we'll get some more of that when we go outside. There are approximately 85 vertical shafts here, including the hoists, ventilation, and escapes in the old lead belt for deep surface mining. That's a ton. Here's kind of a map of the mine. Like I said, we're just south of St. Louis here. Can't remember the exact town name. So this would have been one of the drills, which I assume is pneumatic. Mounted a rotary drill rig, lowered the starter bit. And it doesn't say what it's powered, but I assume it's a pneumatic. Got a 1-ton ore car. A little bit of a diorama of early surface lead mining. Madeline's pulling a shift over here. What are you mining for?
Fossils or something.
Fossils or something.
A rock.
That's probably lead.
Good.
Alrighty, let's head over to the mineral side, see if there's anything cool, and then we'll go outside. So this is the original powerhouse complex. I think that's the building we're in now. It's a cool model. Can't really tell, but it should be the same building, I believe. There's all kinds of cool minerals and fossils and things. You have some good pictures of steam shovels and a custom crusher, whatever that is. Lead. Oh, I'm zoomed in a little far, sorry. These are all local mines as well. Here's all the pictures of changing over this from a powerhouse to a museum. Back in '84, it looks like when it became a museum. Check out that old lowboy. All right, we're outside of the powerhouse now. You can see this is the building we were just in, which has been converted to the museum. There's all like the power lines. Pretty cool. You can kind of just freely walk around, which is nice, but you can't go in many of the buildings, but it looks like we can peek in down here to this main processing building. Check out the old hoist up in the ceiling. That's the operator station there. Wicked cool. I can't see the capacity chart on it to see how big it is. Looks like there's another hoist there. We have a little locomotive, or one of those speeder car things. A bunch of bees are coming out of here, that's great. Really cool, wish we could walk through. There's more of the powerhouse building. Walk down here and see if there's anything else we can see in through the windows. That's a 15-ton P&H hoist. I see the tag now. There's some big sheaves over here. Parts of a steam engine, I believe. Some concrete blocks. Those are sections of a conveyor. Down here you can see that little locomotive thing. That actually has a gas engine, or maybe it might even be a Detroit in it. I think I see the side valve covers like a Detroit has to get into the cylinders. I don't know. A little 171 maybe? This one's electric though. Cool. And down here it kind of seals up, so we can't see any more in there. I had to stop in this window. You could see a truck sitting there with a drill rig on the back of it. Can't really make out what it is. It might be a Studebaker. I don't know. Can't really see much of that window though. See a little more back here, the drill rig itself. Oh, another little speeder car thing. Chilling. Awesome, that's just a cool building. The whole building looking in. There's back at drill rig again. Looks like we have like a chiller tower thing here. And then two big conveyor houses coming up. Big water tower back there. Looks like we have a safety board here with light bulbs. No accident, no lost time, lost time. They did okay, I guess, for a mine. Maybe Hovis, Maberry, and Wills is their competitors, or their sister company, I don't know. No, there'll be a lot more people here, I think. Got another big water tank. So that pretty much wraps up what you can see of the museum on foot, which is a real shame because it is a huge complex, as you will see here in a few moments. I really wish you could walk through a lot more of the buildings and through the property itself, but I completely understand why you can't, as it is a state park. And while I was there, I only saw 2 or so rangers, Both were super nice, and I understand that they're probably understaffed, and it's probably hard enough just to run the museum and let people walk around the limited area with only 2 people around. It would take a lot of people to police and monitor a whole complex like this that is extremely dangerous for people to wander around. Still really appreciated the opportunity just to see what we did see, and on the way out, I did actually ask them if I could fly my drone around to get a couple good shots, and that's what you're seeing now. Now, I am a little timid with the drone, more so than some other people are, so I didn't get too close to anything, as I just recently had a run-in with this drone and a stop sign while filming some content on my 1971 Chevy Suburban. And I had to send this drone back over to China, or wherever the hell it was manufactured, to get a refurbed one sent back. So, didn't really get too crazy with the drone shots, but you can see the entire property, which I think is really cool. Now, one thing I was wondering, and maybe one of you will know if you're a Missouri resident or just more familiar with mines than I am, if there's any way to get like an advanced tour, or if they like once a year allowed people to go into more of the buildings, I would happily drive the 5 or 6 hours back down here to see this property again, because it would be way cool to get in that giant building there, which I believe was the processing building. So this place is wicked cool, and I would love to get back down here again. And if you enjoy this type of content, please let me know. But we will be back to our standard, more heavy equipment, automotive, junk-related content. I don't do a whole lot on buildings like this, but I thought it was worth putting on the channel with the really obscure pieces of heavy equipment that you'll never probably see again. At least I don't think I'll ever see them again. The electric equipment like that is really unique to underground mining like that, for that time at least. And I think it is wicked cool to see how they did that stuff and see the pictures underground. Almost makes me wish I had a little bit more guts to want to explore abandoned mine shafts below the surface. And I certainly will in legal areas or, museums. I've done quite a few in Pennsylvania when I lived there, but I'd love to see some more. If there's any other recommendations for properties like this, or underground mines, or mining equipment to see, definitely let me know down below. Maybe if I'm in the area, I can swing through like I did with this one. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys to quietly look at the rest of this property and check out the sights and everything. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please let me know. Please leave me a like if you could, and I will see you guys on the next one. Also, a little side note, imagine the size of the collection you could have with this much building space. You could collect every car, truck, Jeep, pickup, motorcycle, coot, Atex you could find, and I don't think you would ever run out of space with this gigantic building here. That would be a wicked cool place to have a little museum of just weird junk, even if it wasn't related to mining. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one.